What's up, guys? It's me, Samnang, your host for the Flow In Flow Out podcast. Thank you guys for joining me today for this podcast. And I'm excited about this one. I put this one together because this is going to tell a little bit about my origin story, a little bit about when and why I got started into the personal development work, and some tips and things that I learned along the way that I can share with you, and some insight to help you and kind of expect things when you start doing personal development work. So this podcast is going to be called Five Things I Wish I Knew Before Doing Personal Development Work. And then we always start off with why with the show. And the reason why I'm doing this show and doing like personal development work and putting out content to help my community and help elevate the collective vibrations. That's the purpose of the podcast, is to help give you some insights, some ideas, share some experiences and stories, bring on other guests, and share a little bit about my personal journey. My personal journey has been long. I'm 38 years old right now. But as you meditate and do personal development work, your identity, you start to identify yourself more and more. And I started this really early in when I was younger. The reason why I started, like, wanted to work out, wanted to improve myself, was because it was a lot of it was self-esteem, right? Most of you guys see me now at like 38 for somebody that's been disciplined and grinding and stuff, but I've always been like that. And one of the reasons why it drove me to be who I am today was some of you guys know who my family are. That, like, everybody's very fit, everybody's very good looking. My mom, my dad, my brother, like, everybody gets compliments. But I grew up uh, chubby, short, fat. I had a squeaky voice, and I always felt like I was this ugly duckling in my family. And that was like what I felt like when I grew up. Like, people called me short, chubby. I would hear them make fun of my squeaky voice and everything. So that was always something that I always had in the back of my mind, that, like, I wanted to work on myself. And I saw and I looked at people like my dad, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Bruce Lee. So, but the honest truth, like, I didn't get the opportunity to work on myself until I got to high school. So when I started high school, that's when I started hitting the gym, and that's kind of when I started falling in love with this personal development work. So it started with an idea of, like, feeling of insecurity, of not enough. Like, I felt like I was the ugly duckling. I felt like I needed to improve myself. So it was something that I needed to do to kind of improve my self-esteem. So that's kind of like when I started and everything. But that's, everybody has a personal development journey when they start. Anybody that's in, like, the fitness industry, they have like a success story that they've gone through. There's a time where there was enough pain that caused you to start that personal development journey. So the why is to bring up some pain that I've encountered in the beginning, and to tell you and kind of show you a little bit of why I started in my personal development journey, and some things that might help you on your personal development journey as well too. So that's what the podcast is going to be about, and I'm excited for you guys to listen to it. And if there's any insight about the podcast, please let me know. If you guys got a story and you guys want to share that as well too, I'm gonna be honest and vulnerable. That's the intention of the Flow In Flow Out podcast, is to be as authentic and as real as possible, and talk about the things that really matter. And for me, personal development is something that I live by. I preach, I talk about it, and I practice it in myself. And let's get excited and let's get started on this podcast. All right, so let's get started, guys. So these are the five things that I wish I knew before doing personal development work by me. Okay, so get excited. So the first thing you want to understand is that personal development is a lifelong journey. You guys heard that Zen saying, "Journey of 10,000 miles starts with the first mile, the first step." Right. So it's a long journey, and the big misconception is that success is a destination, and there really isn't a destination. It's just a process that we start and do, and then just kind of continue to do it over and over and over. So it's a discipline. So personal development is really it's a lifelong journey. So um that's how nature works. It's like it's always like a continuous movement, and that's what part of like the flow in flow out philosophy is, always continuously moving and continuously always improving. So where you're at today, if you're listening to this podcast, you're getting some insight. You're at the spot for a reason. You're listening to a podcast about personal development for a reason, right? You're getting some ideas, you're getting some insight, you're getting starting to run some of these information towards your own individual journey. And you have to understand that personal development is a lifelong journey. It's gonna be very hard. But I think one of the biggest misconception a lot of people or biggest mistake that a lot of people do is just kind of forget all about their experience. They forget about all the information, knowledge that they've done. But in reality, the best way to do something like, and I talk to a lot of people and I coach a lot of people, is that what you've learned in the past is your knowledge, right? It's not anything, um, it's yours. Your experience is more important than any other knowledge that's out there. And we tend to kind of rely on other information versus the self-knowledge. So personal development, the goal of it is to go inside yourself, start to develop your own philosophy, start to develop your own way of thinking, your own set of values and stuff. So it's a lifelong journey, and you continue to always refine it, right? So, and then number 2, guys, personal development can be uncomfortable and challenging, extremely uncomfortable, because you have a warrior's mindset. I'm going to talk a little bit about having a warrior's mindset, and instilling type of courage and discipline, right? That's a warrior's mindset, because the process of personal development and growth is very hard. You have to do challenging things that your body, society, wants you to be easy. Like, think about how easy it is to get food delivered to your house, right? You could just jump on an app. Think about some stuff that you want like instantly. You can jump on Amazon and get it instantly, right? So that delayed gratification kind of goes away. And it is uncomfortable to sacrifice things, but in the process of like sacrificing things, you get the rewards, right? So it is uncomfortable when you're making these sacrifices. Like if you're interested in going to like deeper work, like spiritual work, similar to like what I'm doing, is you do have to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit, challenge yourself to go into like a different network, right? That's very challenging. I've been in many different communities, and I've always put myself inside different communities that push me outside the comfort zone. And when I went to college, never been to a college, I joined a fraternity, completely uncomfortable, right? But I thrived in that situation. Even in the entrepreneur space, in the fitness space, those were things that I put myself outside of my comfort zone, but I grew in those situations. Originally, when you first start and put yourself in different communities, different zones and stuff, it's uncomfortable because you're the new one. You don't know shit. Like I don't know shit in the personal development community and the remote coaching business, but I'm here. You know what I'm saying? It's extremely uncomfortable. I got a podcast in here. I'm trying to be as comfortable as possible in this space and in this arena. And part of having a warrior's mindset, of having a courage and discipline, is knowing that it's going to be scary. It's fucking scary every day for me to kind of step out, wake up, start public speaking, start putting my content out there, start putting my thoughts together, start putting my research together. Because there's people that are going to challenge the way I think. There's going to be people that are going to be against like what I say and stuff. So I need to be able to do this. And this is extremely challenging for me. So it's me, I'm showing you an example of that. I know it's challenging. I know there's fear in front of it, but I continue to move forward. That's having a warrior's mindset. All right, so for thing number 3, not all methods work for everyone. And I'll be honest, I don't like cold baths, right? People think like you have to do ice baths, you have to do these meditations, you have to do these journaling practice, you have to do these book reading and stuff. The most important thing is if you stick to a program that's developed for yourself, right? Some people don't care about meditation. They care more about being in nature. That's like my brothers and stuff. I care to be deep in my meditation and thoughts and journaling and stuff. They care to be outside, which is perfect. It's exactly what it is, personal development work, right? And it might look a little different, but part of the podcast is really give you an idea of like, hey, is this personal development at work, or is it just me being lazy or just being comfortable, right? Of course, we all get comfortable at times, but when you're doing personal development work, it's meant for growth, right? So not all methods work for everyone. I just want to reiterate that. So there's different things that you could do to do personal development, and some of my things I always listed just to give you inspiration. But what I do most certainly doesn't. You don't have to do it as well too. But one of the main foundations for me, you guys know that I work out, intense bodybuilding, strength training, and fairly intense because my body can handle it for now. But not everybody could handle that type of training that that I put myself into. And then books, I like journaling, I like meditation, and I like having very deep conversations with people. That's for one of my methods for like personal development. And people have different types of methods of how to kind of get better understanding of themselves and in the personal development field. But for me, those are my favorite things: working out, having that space to myself, meditating, journaling, having great conversations. I think that's one of the ones that I've um, enacted more into my practice, is just to have conversations that are a lot more meaningful instead of just having conversation, just talking about things. So so that's fairly new for me. But if there's anything, there's a lot of people that do like ice bath, biohacking things, and even meditation. Like meditation is not for everyone. I'm honest. Like it's not for everyone. Sitting there and just thinking by yourself and being okay with it is not for everyone. But for me, it's the process of, what's the most efficient, what's the fastest way for me to get, to the process that I need. Thank you guys for watching the Flow In, Flow Out podcast. So I want to take a moment and take a break from the show and thank you for being a part of our community. So I'm the head coach at Peak Performance Academy, and I want to talk about how you guys could support the channel and how we could support you as well too. So if you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe and share it with your thoughts. Leave a review with some feedback and let us know what you enjoy about the show. Your review helps the algorithm and gets our message out to more people. So here's how we could support you guys in your personal growth. So we have a coaching community called Peak Performance Academy, where I'm the head coach. We offer live coaching calls and lifestyle packages as well too. So if you need additional support in these areas of your life, please book a discovery call with us. We look forward to hearing from you and look forward to working with you. And also, if you are a fan of the Flow In, Flow Out podcast and you resonate with the message, and if you have an inspiring story to share, anything that you want to get out there, that's going to help elevate the collective vibrations, we welcome you. Just let me know, send me an email, send me a comment, and then we'll get you scheduled on to the show. So we look forward to having you, and we love and appreciate all the support that have you been giving to our the Flow In Flow Out podcast and the Peak Performance Academy community. All right. So, thing number 4, the importance of a support system. Okay. So, that's actually one of the reasons why I created the Flow In Flow Out podcast. Peak Performance Academy is to have a support system for people that are new to personal development, fitness, nutrition, spirituality, and stuff. Having somebody as a leader, a guide to show you is important, because when you see an example, it gives you the ability to do that similar thing, going the same route, right? Because I've always had mentors, I've always had good role models, and that's what the importance of a good support system is. And I'm fortunate enough to have many support systems throughout my life, and I'll talk about a few of them and how I kind of maintain them throughout my life. Everybody here knows that Cambodian American. That's a Cambodian community. There's a community there here in Northern Virginia, and that follow me on my social media followings. And I have a Lake Braddock community, my high school community. I've always maintained great relationships there. I've had a VCU network. Within that VCU network, I have a fraternity network. And then as I got older, I had a professional network where I networked with entrepreneurs, business owners, and then what was the other one? A fitness community. I used to be a CrossFit coach and a bodybuilding coach too. So throughout that, I kind of attracted people with my social media, like Instagram and Facebook. And one of the rules that I had when I was building my networks and communities, because I'm very community orientated, because it's your own personal support system. It's very important in if you're trying to do something big. Well, anyway, I mean, the more support you have, the better your life is going to be. So it's understanding your roles in these communities, right? In these communities, I've had roles where I wasn't the leader, where I was just kind of like the student or just learning and just kind of being there. I started off like that in the fraternity, and then I became a leader. And then same in the fitness community, where I was still fairly new and fairly new to CrossFit, but I became an athlete. I got coached and even started coaching myself. It's a natural progress. And in those roles where people could see you saw me growing into these roles and stuff, they would see that, hey, this guy is actually genuinely working and being accountable to what he say he's doing. And it's very similar into this remote coaching business that I started. Is I have a support system, right? Peak Performance Academy is a support system. I have some Facebook groups that are support systems, and I built other support systems through my coaching and working through coaching programs and coaching systems. I've networked and always maintained great relationships. And maintaining great relationships in business and life is extremely important. A lot of us get caught up in being right and everything, but the thing is, like, you just want to maintain, not burn any bridges. I know we all have disagreements and like people that we work with and people that we don't like in different communities and stuff, but at the end of the day, you have to be the bigger person. If you're the leader and you want to be the community leader, you have to set the example of being better. And for me, every time I went through these communities and stuff, I wanted to show the example of like, hey, this is how you actually be a leader. I didn't always start off as a leader. Every leader becomes a good leader before they have to be a good follower before they become a good leader. All right, so that's communities and having the importance of a good support system. It provides motivation and accountability. And, I put my stuff out there more than anyone. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me like, man, I got that dude's grinding and stuff. So I put my stuff out there on purpose because it helps me. I'm growing in front of you guys. So I like to be as authentic as possible. So thing number 5, self-compassion. Self-compassion is key. So yourself, man, you got to give yourself some self-love, because personal development, it's hard work. People think it's like vision boards and like I love you notes and stuff to yourself. It's not. The real work is done, and when you pick out the stuff that you don't like about yourself, right? There's two types of personal development work. There's like personal development where they're like goal setting, uh, visions, and like what you want to achieve, like vision boards. And then there's like shadow work. So shadow work is the stuff that requires like therapy, NLP, like stuff to really like go inside and really dig stuff that you don't like about yourself and really correct it. So there's two types of personal development, and if you're getting into the personal development where it's like rah vision boards and stuff, that's great. But then there's also another side as well too, and the other side is uh, to make sure, I don't know what it is. It's just to make sure that you're uh, being authentic. And shadow work to me is where I'm at, right? Not everybody's there. I could show you the inspiration. I could talk about the stories of how I got here to where I am today, to be this genuine, authentic person that I am today. That don't apologize for being who I am. Right, my thoughts are thought, and I did my work and everything, and I'm able to explain the way I explain things. But part of that process, the shadow work, is extremely tough, right? Because you got to go in and sit there and look at yourself and write to yourself and talk to somebody and tell them how much you don't like yourself, or why are you feeling anxious, why are you feeling weak, why are you feeling like you feel rejected, why you feel these certain things, right? So self-compassion is key in this process, because self-worth, personal development is what we're all trying to like figure out. So self-compassion and just like loving yourself, right? Learning how to love yourself is a big part of personal development. And I personally struggled a lot with like criticizing and self-doubt a lot. That is why I actually have a podcast, to have people help me jump on and talk about and help coach me through stuff. And I'm honest and vulnerable about it, because I know y'all doing the same thing, but you're just not active about it. I'm active about it, and I want to share this experience with you guys, because it's I think it's gonna help. But so those are my top 5 things for before you start doing personal development work. 5 things I wish I knew before doing personal development work. That was my list, my experiences, and let me recap them for you. So personal development is a lifelong journey. It can be uncomfortable and challenging at times. Not all methods work for everyone, and have an importance of a support system, and self-compassion is key. So those are the 5 things. Let me know in the comments or in this discussion if there was any takeaways that you guys had for this. Personal development work is a lifelong journey. So what you're hearing today, the 5-year version of yourself, is not going to be the same. So it's something that I think is extremely important, right? To continue to do this reflection, because we grow, right? If you're not growing, if you're not doing this type of reflection, you're not doing this type of work and stuff, what's happening is the opposite. Is that the opposite of growing is death, right? Not to scare you or anything, but that's what it is. If your brain cells are not growing, if your muscle cells or your body's not growing, it's the start of something, right? It's the start of deterioration. So all is mind, right? I'm gonna start just dropping some freestyle here for you guys before I end the show, and just kind of inspire you to start taking some action on your personal development journey, right? Things that you aren't really aware of, I'm gonna make aware in this podcast, right? These pains, these emotional pains, these ideas, these things that come up in your mind, right? They're you. It's your intuition. It's not anything. And a lot of people, about a good percentage of people, just ignore this, right? And you shouldn't ignore this. That's where personal development work comes on to. That's where you get to happiness, the fulfillment, the gratitude, these higher levels of emotions and stuff. And the thing is, this is to give you ideas that, hey, you might not be doing this type of work, and you might be in this low vibrational state and not really realize that you could actually elevate from where you are to another level. So um, I share my journey because from having different worldviews, having different perspectives and stuff, I'd like to share. I feel like I have some insight that I think will help you guys on your personal development journey, on learning yourself and healing yourself, right? Personal development work, as much as I could talk about it and say things and stuff, it is a self journey. It's a spiritual journey. It started off as personal development, and then it evolved to shadow work, then evolved to like therapy, and then evolved into spiritual work. So it's a journey, and I can tell you, and I'm excited to share my journey with you guys, so you guys could get inspiration. But if you guys need support, if you guys are in transition of your between life, like career, divorce, separation, career move, a lot of stuff has happened during the pandemic. There's new information, there's new technology, there's ways to get creative and learning and stuff. So I do provide a coaching community. It's called Peak Performance Academy. You guys know that I'm the head coach and I'm the host of the Flow In Flow Out podcast. So if you guys are interested in learning what I've learned and getting coached on that kind of stuff, I have the community to support. So I have Peak Performance Academy. I'm the head coach there. We have live coaching calls. We have starter packs. We have lifestyle programmings. Please subscribe to this podcast, share it, rate it. If anybody that you think might like this type of content, I like to elevate the collective vibrations for you guys. But that's my message for today, guys. I want you guys to take some action. Things are scary, right? And courage is what is needed, right? Courage and discipline. We're gonna take some action today. So enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I enjoyed putting this one together. I'm getting very excited and sharpening my skills and my public speaking skills. And podcasting is a great way for me to do this, and I appreciate all the love and the support that you guys all have been giving me. You guys are the best. You guys rock, and let's get it. Let's go. Let's elevate. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep rambling and just keep trying to motivate and inspire you guys until you guys take some action. Take some action. Take some action. Let's go.